You know, full disclosure, some of you guys regularly leave nice comments on my videos like, Vince, I really like your analysis. You know, the way you do the reporting is very professional. I'm a big fan of it. And I appreciate those comments, I really do. But I have to be honest, that's not going to be this video, okay? These people have officially driven me up the wall, okay? I'm going to peacefully and patriotically crash out in this video because it is astonishing how widespread this has become. Okay, even more than the crazy leftists online celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Now this new blue anon conspiracy of, oh, the guy who was obviously a leftist is actually a Trump supporter, and here's our proof. He had a conservative family. I have an IQ of 5. I'm just really stupid. That we have to respond to this. And we have more information on it too, by the way. So before I get too crazy, and yes, these people are actually driving me crazy because it is everywhere. They're all saying this BS, okay? Everywhere. Apparently someone from Sweden actually told me right now, the Swedish newspapers are reading all over the front page. The shooter was a MAGA guy. He came from a MAGA family. He was a Trump supporter. Turning Point should sue for defamation. I don't even know if you have a case there, okay? Because they're not defaming Turning Point. They're defaming the guy in a sense. He's not going to... I don't care, okay? This is actually insane. But before I get too into it, I do have new news to bring you. Because if it was not clear enough to people with an IQ above 5, maybe 10, that a guy who wrote, "Hey, fascist catch, Bella Ciao," famous socialist anti-fascist slogan in history, the guy whose family was talking about how, yeah, he was not a fan of Charlie Kirk. They were having a family dinner talking about how hateful he is, etc., etc. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just got a news source out of The Guardian. This is the reporting from Anna Betts. Shout out to Anna Betts. Thank you for actually telling the truth for once. But as you can see, the suspect's high school friend says that the Charlie Kirk shooter here, Tyler Robinson, was the only leftist in a family of very hard Republicans. Oh, so what you're telling me is this. Tyler Robinson, in terms of what he wrote on the bullets, said to the world that he was a leftist. His family said to the world in the police interviews that he was a leftist. His friends from high school, the people who knew him from the community, are now saying he's a leftist. And what is the online leftist conclusion at the moment? It is no longer just, oh, we don't know if he was a leftist or not. It's that he was a Trump supporter. Nobel Prize winning. Have you guys tried applying to go to a PhD master's program? I think you're really smart. I think you should study astrophysics, okay? I really like the way your logic connects one piece to another. Peacefully and patriotically. Okay. So here's the article saying in a phone interview on Friday, one of Tyler Robinson's high school friends who had asked to remain anonymous said the suspect was pretty left on everything. Did I disconnect my mouse here? Okay, sorry. Was pretty left on everything and was the only member of his family that was really leftist. Oh, what a big surprise. You mean to tell me that the guy who shot Charlie Kirk, one of the top Trump supporters in America, was actually not a Republican Trump supporter? Imagine my surprise. Imagine my effing surprise that a guy who wrote anti-fascist slogans on his bullet as he shot a right-winger is being described by people who knew him as a right-winger. We needed Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. You know, we really needed to put Watson on the case. The rest of his family was very hard Republican, the friend said. Around sophomore year, the friend said, Robinson became more extreme in his political views and would always just be ranting and arguing about them. Yet again, if you scroll through the algorithm on X or TikTok or any comment section, there's probably those freaking losers in my comment section talking about how the liberals will be saying, nope, he was a MAGA Trump supporter. Okay. So if you're going to resist all of the obvious evidence here, and by the way, really quickly, let's go over it, because I can hear some of the counter arguments. They're saying, oh, Bella Ciao, some right-wingers have used that ironically. Again, it's literally a famous socialist song. Okay? Number one. Number two, they're saying the line about the fascists is from a game called Helldiver 2 or something. Okay, let's pretend all of this for a moment still. If it was a right-wing domestic terrorist who wanted to prove a point, don't you think that they would not write leftist slogans like that, right? Because you know what the far right would call them in response? Just understanding how this works, they'd say you're cringing gay, bro. Like, literally. Like, far right extremists do not do things like that, especially the young ones. Let me just tell you that right now, right? No, the language, the phraseology, including the whole joke thing about, like, if you read this, you're gay, LMAO. You know where that type of humor is from? It's straight off of Reddit. You know who's overwhelmingly on Reddit? Go there right now and look up any thread on Charlie Kirk. It's a bunch of similarly psychotic, deranged leftists like the person in the shooting, Tyler Robinson himself, okay? So there's not a single piece of evidence here that points to him being a conservative Trump supporter. And again, the logic as to why you would do it doesn't even make sense, right? But here you have it. Okay, so here's their big piece of proof. You can see from Republicans against Trump, and every freaking blue and on moron has been spreading this article. Tyler Robinson's grandmother, Debbie Robinson, told the Daily Mail today, quote, "My son, his dad, the dad, is a Republican for Trump. Most of my family members are Republican. I don't know a single family member who's a Democrat." That's their proof. Again, like that is their amazing argument as to how the guy clearly must be a Trump supporter because his dad is a Trump supporter. What's really interesting is that when you actually go down here, you'll see that when they asked this grandmother about the grandson, right, Tyler Robinson, the actual suspect, she went on to state, quote, "I'm just so confused. Tyler is the shyest person," she said. Here's the big one. "He has never, ever spoke politics to me at all." Wow, leftist, you really got us on this one. You know, the big source, the big bombshell you're dropping. And by the way, this is an article out of the, I believe, Daily Mail. Okay, Daily Mail. So what do you expect there? Your big bombshell, guys, is a person who never spoke to the source about politics. Amazing, right? Meanwhile, our bombshell, which is not really a bombshell, but the source that we are presenting you, who is a high school friend, claims that they did talk to Tyler Robinson about politics, said that Tyler Robinson was a leftist, aka what? Not a single individual out there who claimed to know Tyler Robinson and know his political views is claiming that he was a right-wing conservative. But guys, clearly he was. He must have been. Right? And, you know, what they're essentially trying to do here is, like, 48 hours after the case, they are trying to spin potentially any reason why, you know, any reason to not take accountability for the very obvious violence that happened at the very least on their own side, right? They don't want to admit it was them. Which is interesting because 48 hours ago, they were celebrating. They were saying the shooter was amazing. Now they're saying they totally disavow the shooter and he's one of the Trump supporters, clearly, right? Just, again, dishonest scum, okay? This is really just what we're dealing with here. Now, that said, I would like to address this argument because I keep on hearing this, right? Explain how someone born and bred in a family of righties becomes a lefty. How could that happen? How could someone who was born with conservative parents possibly have differing political views than their parents? This has never happened before, guys, ever. So look, the explanation is obvious. First of all, people have different views than their parents, right? And people are saying, oh, he only went to college for one semester. Okay, it's also clear he was terminally online all the time. He can pick up politics from the internet. He can. I learned most of my politics from the internet because my parents weren't even political at the age that I got interested in this stuff, right? It's not really crazy to understand. Furthermore, you mean to tell me that, what, teenagers don't rebel against their parents? And lastly, here's the most important point. To all of you lefties out here who are saying this garbage, I want to say you lack total self-awareness. And what do I mean by that? Let's have a one-on-one conversation, okay? Audience, pretend you're the third wall right now. I know for a fact, and the audience knows for a fact, that the vast majority of you mentally unwell leftists, we will say, have conservative parents who you resent, and growing up in your childhood, you had problems with those conservative parents. Hence, which explains, now in adulthood, your leftist politics and your general unwellness in life. Okay? I know it's true. You know it's true. Your resent for your parents drives your own politics. Many such cases. And I guarantee the phenomenon I'm describing here is far from alone, because every single person watching this video right now, I guarantee knows someone who, oh, I have the same experience. I know that crazy person who's like psychotic Antifa leftist in my family. Yeah, I know. So for all of you to stand here and make the argument that he had conservative parents, therefore he must have been conservative, is not only dumb on a logical basis, it is completely lacking in personal self-awareness. And you guys know exactly who you are. I can't speak for all of your personal upbringings, but I know what the majority of people like this in America grew up like, because you went to school with these people. Some of these people are in your family. Many such cases. Shut the heck up. Okay? Your argument is dumb. It always has been dumb. And, you know, again, I say tonight you should look in the mirror. You really should, for a number of reasons, because you're utterly dishonest, because you're a disingenuous person, because you are, first of all, defending political violence against other people and then claiming it wasn't you after you are saying that it was a good thing, right? But furthermore, if you're going to make an argument about other people, maybe think about, you know, am I personally hypocritical for saying this? I guess I'll say. Just the point I want to make there, okay? It's really not all that complicated. You, of course, see other things like this, right? A major Twitter account called Anonymous today spread around this. These people are so pathetic, by the way. Like, keep this in mind. The evidence we've presented on this channel are all things that I have heard directly from the investigation, right? They came directly out of the mouth of Utah Governor Spencer Cox. I have heard other things. For instance, some people said he was in Young Democratic Socialists of America. Some people said he was in American Communist Party. Notice how I haven't promoted those things because I can't verify the source there, right? All these people, though, on the other side are hoaxes, okay? And I want to explain some of them here today. Because again, besides their big piece of evidence that the grandma who never spoke to him about politics said she didn't know his politics, amazing argument, here you have other photos that are circulating around. For instance, right, you've seen this one where he's wearing a Trump shirt and they're like, see, he was a Trump supporter, which again, doesn't really explain logically why he would want to attack Charlie Kirk. That's the original picture, okay? They posted this, millions of followers, just spread it around, don't care, I think now since it's been deleted. But again, this is all these people have. All they have are hoaxes. All they have are lies. And it's going everywhere. I want to, honestly, I would like to know an opinion poll tonight. How much of the country believes this, that the guy was a right-wing MAGA guy, okay? Don't we love democracy so much, by the way, right? Don't you just love the fact that the people spreading this type of stuff all have the same exact right to vote as you and the same ability to influence the political decisions as you? I'm not being sarcastic at all. It is a lovely thing. Democracy is truly a lovely thing. Anyways, here's another one you keep on seeing, which is they said, he was registered to vote as a Republican. Okay, no, he wasn't. NBC News, as a matter of fact, has even come out and fact-checked this because a lot of people were spreading it. Tyler Robinson's voter registration, the guy was indeed, here writes, he first of all was inactive as a voter. He wasn't voting, but he was unaffiliated. He did not register as a Republican or a Democrat. So they were saying he's a registered Republican. That's obviously not true. Now they're trying to shift the goalposts and say, oh, look, he wasn't a Democrat. Okay, because a bunch of people who have certain political leanings still register a certain way. And by the way, did I ever directly say he was a Democrat? No. I said the Democrat Party influences these people. That's true. But we described him as a radical leftist, right? So you hear all these arguments. Oh, he liked guns, so therefore he wasn't a Democrat. You know, the revolutionary far left likes guns too, right? They also like they are committing acts of terror. They obviously do like guns. Like they're apparently you can never see a left-wing terrorist because left-wingers are against guns. Is that the argument? So stupid. But no, again, he was unaffiliated, right? And I never said he was a registered Democrat. But apparently these people seem to believe that, I don't know, they feel offended by that personally. I'm not really sure. Here's another one you've seen, because we see massive amounts of people saying, oh, he donated to Trump, right? He donated to the Trump campaign in 2020. CNN, by the way, has come out and debunked that this is false. This is describing a registration of some other random person with a common name, Tyler Robinson, and the kid is 22. He would have been what? Like 18, 19, 17, 18, something like that back in the 2020 election. Not really sure he was even donating to any political candidates, but even if you believe that, as you can see, users shared false claims that federal records show Robinson was a donor to Trump's campaign in 2020. In fact, the actual donor is a different man with the same first and last name, common name, by the way. The suspect here has no record of federal election donations. Big surprise, right? All they can do is spread a bunch of freaking nonsense. Here's another one you keep seeing. You see how strongly these people are grasping at straws right now, right? Oh, he was a registered Republican. No, he wasn't. Photoshopped image or image of someone else. Oh, he donated to Trump. No, it wasn't, right? Here's the next amazing conspiracy theory they have, right? Again, a guy who wrote socialist, anti-fascist slogans while he was shooting at a prominent right-wing activist clearly was a Trump supporter. Why? Here's the next one. He wore a Halloween costume in 2017. Okay. Furthermore, as you can see, here's the alleged suspect in Charlie Kirk's murder. Tyler Robinson with a Donald Trump costume for Halloween. It looks like a Trump supporter to me. I want to zoom out, though. Look at this costume. So this is their amazing argument, right? It's not even a costume of him dressed up as Donald Trump, which even in itself, it's a Halloween costume. It can mean any number of things. But you can see it actually shows him like piggybacking and riding on top of Donald Trump. Now, this is really not that strong of evidence in either direction, but I would say, just logically speaking, knowing who he was in high school and understanding the situation, if anything, if you're going to make any argument out of this, it to me pretty clearly seems like he's actually trying to mock Donald Trump with a costume, right? He's on top of him. He's like riding him, ha ha ha, right? It's not like he's dressed up as him or anything like that, or dressed up as a Trump supporter. He seems to be like putting down Trump, does he not? But apparently not. Apparently, these brilliant leftists that just like, they know so much. They know everything, okay? You know, I saw one of them today claiming basically that they're like a forensic investigator, because here's one, right? They asked Grok, or they asked, ChatGPT about this, and then, you know, they probably put a bunch of stuff into ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT responded that, well, then the guy might be a far-right extremist or a groyper or something like that. So that's their argument, right? So ChatGPT says they're actually using ChatGPT as their freaking forensic investigator here, guys. I'm exhausted. I can't even do it anymore, right? Yeah, this is exactly what you're seeing, right? This is the left. This is the left, right? It could be any one of us. How do you know he was leftist? He was actually right-winger, guys. Definitely believe us. I'm so tired, okay? Like, to not really sleep for 2 days straight, and then to log on the internet right now and having to deal with these people. We love them though, don't we, folks? They're fellow Americans, you know, but it's just so tiring, so tiring. So, that said, guys, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. They are brain dead. And peace.